Yeah, and the GSTC is, the hope is, I mean, the initial setup for this is that any organization, like a certification program, a Ministry of Tourism, a national park, would have a place to go to that would provide them with a baseline understanding of sort of the critical issues when we're talking about sustainability, that these are really baseline application ideas. And if you look at them, if you review them, you could probably say, well, you're not going to see anything there that's specific to any one sort of environment, like a desert versus an ocean versus a forest. These are universal. The goal here is to make these universally applicable, so that the uptake could be from a level, and really this criteria, it started and it probably is most applicable to tour operators and hoteliers, if you look at the criteria. The destination criteria, which is being developed, is more of a holistic structure or system-wide criteria. It kind of steps back just a couple of levels so that you could go to Jeju Island and say, as a destination at Jeju, are we meeting this criteria that could actually influence sustainable tourism in our destination? So obviously the stakeholder list that you all came up with becomes much more applicable at that level as well. And every effort's being made. We're trying to get UNWTO to help us with this, and UNEP, and the organizations that actually help influence at government level, as well as we've got a working group looking at market access for the tour hotel or the tour operator specific. And I gotta be quiet now. Just like, okay, all right.
Yeah. Well, due to our time constraints, we're going to move on to talk about staffing, programming, facilities, and marketing. And I don't think we can finish all by noon. Lunchtime. So when we get to 1 o'clock, we just cut it off and continue on the
Yeah, really quick, just staffing program. So before we go to lunch, we just have 15 minutes. We're going to move. We have a little bit more condensed discussions to do after lunch, so I'll give you a chance to eat. But we just wanted to talk in closing here before lunch about staffing, programming, facilities, and marketing, a general overview. All of you have identified the stakeholders, what you'd like to see from the various people that you're going to be working with. We've identified goals and who are involved in our businesses. And we have to start discussing how to best implement all that. What I'm going to suggest is very quickly give you an overview of how you can begin this process through staffing and programming. And later we'll go into a more commercial approach to how you can actually fund some of these things and how you can think about funding some of these things. In terms of staffing and programming, I think it's very important for all of you, whether you're in an NGO or a government organization or even a private organization that works with any of those two I mentioned, that you consider how you're going to construct your advisory board. There are two types of advisory boards, really. I mean, obviously there's many types, but there's two basic types. If you're in an NGO, you have a membership-oriented board, or you have an advisory planning board. And there are two different things, because the membership organization is going to depend a great deal on finding members, raising funds for membership. And the other organizations are going to have some kind of pre-funding available to them and are going to concentrate more on a job-specific project or projects. So what we need to do, particularly when talking about sustainability, because I think here what we're addressing is I have this job that I do, but I can't seem to connect with the right people or the right route to get to where I want to get so that I can help do what I do better than I do now. Am I correct? Does anybody have any doubts about this because maybe I'm not addressing it well. And so you have to think about staffing and how you program these things. The first thing you have to remember is when you have an advisory board or a board or a group or a committee or a series of employees that you have in charge, you have to look for people who are, one, very knowledgeable about both sides of the issue, which means that they understand what your organization wants and they understand what the other side, your nemesis, in this case maybe it would be the government, Eric in your case, it goes right by them, somebody who has the knowledge of both of these and can play both sides of the fence. The second thing you need is to find somebody who can be a spokesperson, because you can spread your message quickly and effectively through third-party integration, which means you're at an event and they're interviewing people and they say, well, how do you like the IUCN? And you say, oh, I like it very much. Where are you from? I'm from Costa Rica. Okay, and what do you do? I'm the president of Coneco. Okay, that's one way to do it. The other way is, where are you from? Costa Rica, the most beautiful country in Central America. And what do? I run an organization whose specific work is to promote sustainability and to create an association of, you see how different it is when you start marketing yourself, and these people that are your spokesmen or your spokeswomen or your voices of your organization have to be able to politically and commercially sell your product under the most condensed format with the greatest amount of knowledge possible. I would also recommend that if you're in an organization that has media exposure and you get interviewed, that you really work hard on learning how to do what they call sound bites in the United States, which is you have a book about your organization and you'd like to be able to read the whole book out loud to the interviewer, which would take 16 days, but you actually have 30 seconds or 1 minute. So you have to be able to get that information out as quickly and as clearly and to seduce your audience with the idea of, I'd like to know more and I'd like to see what's going on. And you have to have a project. So if they interview Eric about your national parks, not only are you going to talk about how beautiful the national parks are, but you're also going to talk about, we have a project in the national parks we're working on right now where we're going to bring in small business owners and the tourism surrounding the area and giving them special incentives. Boom. Next day, 50 phone calls. What are these incentives you were referring? Start planting seeds. And I always tell people, think of your favorite television show and the last episode, because it's a series, they always end with, oh no, I gotta wait till next week to hear what's gonna happen next. Take that same mentality when you talk about your organization, because people are gonna wanna know more about it and investigate it more. And in terms of staffing, again, I'm gonna go back to this, find people who work for you, who wear what we say in Spanish, they wear the shirt of they wear the team's shirt, so that they're walking, talking, thinking, and speaking about where they work and what they're doing with passion. In Costa Rica, we, in the private sector, and part of our certification and part of our sustainability is that all employees in the perfect world, and at least 85% in order to earn certification, have to be local. What this does, obviously, is it allows you to recycle money back into the community. It also keeps a level of pride very high because they're representing something that's in their community. But it also has a very low turnover in terms of people saying, I can't stand driving to work anymore. For me to get to work, I have to take 4 buses, and I just can't do it. It's too tiring. So when you're organizing for your own sustainable project, try and think about access and transportation, because this really has a strong impact on how many people come and go in your organization. And then finally, to end it, when you have a board of directors, you need to set a set of ground rules for these people and that they have to participate as active people. And you want to create committees within your board so that they are responsible. Education, membership. We have in Kaneheko one called political committee, which is anything that comes by where people say, what is Kaneheko's position on the new airport in the Osa Peninsula? We immediately get to work and start feeling out and finding information, and then we report back to the board of directors saying, here's what we've discovered. All the hotel owners in this area don't want this airport, and it's also got a huge impact environmentally, et cetera, et cetera. So we recommend that our position should be that we're against it for these reasons. So when you do that, the whole board is free from thinking about all of these issues, and what they're best at, they can concentrate on. In my case, in Kaneheko, I'm the head of the Planet People Peace Conference Committee, and I'm also on the political committee because I'm a spokesman for Kaneheko, but we have many, many others. So I'm going to leave that where it is right now. When we come back, we're going to talk at length about how you can actually create strategies that will work for you in terms of economic, governmental bridge building, which is really critical if you want to move forward to create more sustainability. Anybody have any questions or comments up to now?
Yeah, we have about 5 minutes.
Okay, that's what I was hoping, that we would have some little bit of conversation before we go to lunch. Any doubts or what we call inquietudes in Spanish, like sort of concerns? So everybody's satisfied right now with where we're gone up to now? Okay. So, Masu?
Yes, thank you. So Glenn will be covering in the afternoon with the economic sense, I'll be covering socio-cultural, and Kelly will cover the environmental aspects. Then we have the company break, but we do also have marketing, and also the covering more of the actual interpretation, guiding, green structure, and business plan development. So those are the things that's coming up. So I'm hoping that you will show up, so don't go away. And we'll see you again, reconvene at 2 p.m. sharp, right? Okay, thank you for your participation. I'll see you soon.